Over the next 2 days here on the Madden YouTube channel, I'm going to be breaking down an absolutely free audible down scheme out of the LA Rams or Minnesota Vikings offensive playbooks. This is going to make the lives of anyone who runs the dollar meta absolutely hell. I can't wait. Let's get into it. What's up, guys? Zan from the Zan Madden YouTube channel. And the summer is always time for you to get super toxic with the run-heavy offenses, with the tight ends having insane run block and the ability to beat man-to-man coverage deep or be able to beat zone coverage due to the fact that their ratings are like that of the best receivers in the game. So enter my Minnesota Vikings offense, which you guys have heard me talk about ad nauseum here on the channel. But today's video and tomorrow's video are going to be YouTube exclusive videos.
My God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
Where we are going to be breaking down an audible out scheme from the X Nasty into a few different formations in the LA Rams or Minnesota Vikings offenses. Again, they are the exact same playbook. So the formations that we're going to be breaking down today are going to be the single back wing pair and also the single back wing tight. These are going to be wide receiver left breakdowns in today's video. And then tomorrow we're going to do an audible out scheme that is going to break down wide receiver right into wing tight Z. So we're going to give you guys a full jumbo offensive game plan that is going to be audible out. Everything that I'm going to be breaking down here is going to be totally free to you. So enough yapping. Let's get into today's video, how we are going to set up this. So what we're going to do here is we're going to make one sub and utilize a package. So based off of your depth chart, you've got a formation here where X Nasty is one tight end. So your starting tight end is going to be the inside tight end. Your number two tight end is going to come into the play via the formation package that we utilize. Your third tight end is going to be the one that we sub. You take a look right here. I have 399 speed tight ends. They're absolutely insane. So they can run block perfectly in my X Nasty. You take a look at the actual ratings that I have on these guys. I've got a little bit of a Bears theme team remix. We've done some content on the Bears theme team remix this year, but they have a run block rating of basically 99, 99, and then Cole Kmet's okay. He's 85. It's passable. So with this particular scheme here, we are going to be audibling from the X Nasty where these guys are running routes at 99 speed like wide receivers, but we are going to be audibling into the wing pair. So what we're going to do is we're going to put Cole Kmet, our tight end number 3, as our outside receiver on the right of our single back bunch X Nasty. Now, remember how I just said that we are utilizing a package. So if we flick the right analog stick, you'll note that it has twin tight end swap. You see that number 87 comes into the tight end position and number 88 goes up to the point. That is swapping your two tight ends. So your number one tight end goes up to the top receiver. Your number two tight end comes into the tight end position. If you don't like that package, you could actually flick the stick a few more times and find a formation known as twin tight end. That will leave your starting tight end at the number one tight end position and your number two tight end will play the point. So if for whatever reason you have a tight end that you really want to stay in, maybe he's a better run blocker than the other one, you can use either or package to make sure that you have the right skill set in the right position. So we're going to be breaking down a couple formations here today, the wing pair and also the wing tight. Again, these are our wide receiver left. So with this particular scheme, what we're going to do is we are going to set a couple of audibles. In the wing pair, I'm going to utilize 26 duo, halfback inside zone, tight end attack, which is probably the most user-friendly casual level play that a lot of pro players have trouble stopping. It's really, really difficult to stop for a lot of players. So that's why we're going to utilize it. And then we're also going to utilize the PA sprint halfback flat. We'll get to that momentarily. Over in our wing tight, we are going to utilize the wide zone weak. This is my favorite run in the game. If you were to actually take a look at my X Nasty and you take a look at the wide zone weak that I run in that, on nearly 3,000 play calls, I average 8 yards a carry out of this. And this is with 3 wide receivers and 1 tight end. We are going to be running this out of the regular wing tight where we're going to have much better results. You see on a small sample size, I've got 15 calls, 11.7 per carry. Pretty darn good. So we're going to use the wide zone weak right here. We're also going to work in, you can use a couple of different other play calls if you want. The stretch is so similar to the wide zone, I wouldn't recommend using that. Halfback counter. We talked about this in a YouTube short. I love this run against 4 down lineman sets. So I'm going to make sure that I have this in my back pocket because these counter runs, especially when they're rushing 4 and dropping 7 or dropping 8 in coverage with the front 4, really, really, really good. So with that, we're gonna have those as our 2 runs, and then your passing plays can kind of be whatever you want. I really like this play, PAY throwback, because of 2 reasons. One, it's the outside zone play action, which gets the running back open in the flat. It's got a nice deep in route on the backside, and it's got a C-Route to the tight end, which is really unique. So we could leave that. If you want, you could go ahead and utilize these jet sweeps. I personally am more of a fan of throwing this in the audibles, the play before I use it. It's not something that stays as a perma audible, but for the purpose of this video, I will go ahead and throw it in there so you can see it. You know, in general, I think that we're probably going to be working with a hot route master quarterback in this particular video. The stock passing plays in this are not super great. Crossing routes, things like that, you're going to be just fine. So let's go ahead and leave PAY throwback as our last audible. So let's go ahead now and take the field here. We've got this all set up, and what we're gonna do is kind of illustrate how these audibles look. So the cool thing about this is we have the wide receiver to the left of the formation, 3 tight ends to the right side of the formation. This is such a perfect audible out quick snap option for you when you audible into the wing pair, simply because nobody moves. And then you see that we're able to run this 26 duo and pick up pretty crazy yardage. So that's a really good starting point as it pertains to the dollar. A lot of players are going to pinch their defensive line when you do this because they're worried about that inside run. And this is where you're going to be able to, again, hit them with that 26 duo, because this is a power run. This is considered an off guard run with no pulling guard. You'll go ahead and run this. You see that they basically create a wall for you to hit that B gap right off the guard, off the tackle, and be able to gash the dollar defense. And this is going to work really well against DB fire or against spinner. So in the event that they're running spinner, most players are probably going to do something like this. They're going to back their outside corners off, as players tend to, and they kind of just run man coverage like you see right here, user in the middle of the field. Again, with this particular audible formation, you're going to be in a spot where you could go ahead and hit them with the inside zone or the halfback duo. So let's go ahead and run the 26 duo here. Again, I like to double team this guard. We go ahead and run this ball. And you see that it just creates a huge lane. And you see right there that, you know, really they need a miracle shed for this to not be 5 to 7 yards. Really easy stuff here. They really can't pinch against this. A lot of players too will start to run DB fire. A lot of players mix in, you know, they'll man up players like this, or they'll, you know, put guys in zone coverages for mabling purposes, or, you know, a lot of players will send one slot corner or the other. This is where you're going to really be able to work this 26 duo or the inside zone. Now, the thing about the inside zone is that you need to remember that they do have this guy blitzing off the weak side. You cannot just run inside zone into that because nobody is going to block him. We got a miracle block right there. So that player is key. If we can get a body on him, we're going to be golden with this. So I want to introduce the concept of being able to utilize a motion of our tight end in the single back wing pair. So let's stay with this inside zone weak right here. We're going to go ahead here and show you guys that if you motion the wing tight end, he goes to kind of an H-back fullback position. This will help get extra bodies over to that side, but that does not guarantee that he is going to block that player. You do see that in a lot of cases, the guard peels out and kind of creates kind of a trappy type of run or like a whamish type of action on this, but it's not a 100% consistent thing. I just want to make sure that you guys are aware of this as we run through this. So again, if I want to run the weak zone here and I motion this guy to the H alignment, this is going to be something where you're still kind of relying on pace to be able to peel out and recognize that. Otherwise, this run does really get downhill pretty quick. It's a nice little run. If you guys are really uncertain about blocking that weak slot corner, you know that they're running spinner, you know that they're running DB fire, and you want to get a body on them, you want to make sure that you're probably motioning one of the other 2 tight ends. You'll note that the Gronk motion is going to basically line him up at this wing position. And you see that he will get a dedicated body on that player, and we're able to kind of get to that second level pretty easily. So, you know, motioning a guy to a wing versus a kind of a fullback role, there is a big difference in how the offensive line will target or who targets whom on this run scheme. One thing that I do want to mention as well, that if you do want to run 26 duo to the weak side and that you motion this guy into the backfield, again, this is a power run. This is a man-to-man blocking scheme. So you may see a little bit better results. Again, you look at how this run scheme is going. I would highly recommend that you guys run the Derrick Henry. He's so good. In general, those are kind of your run scheme motions. I do now want to get into some of the nuance of this formation from a passing perspective. And the reason I want to do that is this is a very freestyle formation. So let's talk about, first and foremost, when we audible into the wing pair, I want to talk about the fact that the motion of this guy right here, he becomes a fullback, right? So this kind of talks about, you know, our freestyling elements of, you know, motioning. We've talked about, you know, if you have a hot route master, you can put a guy on a post route, a corner route, whatever. This guy's considered a slot receiver, right? We put him on a corner route, and if we motion him into the backfield, he is now running a corner route from the backfield. This is really important because if they're running, you know, spinner, for instance, and they are trying to play man-to-man on the outside with this safety on this guy, this is going to be a spot where, okay, well, just maybe if we block this blitz, for instance, we can go ahead and get Cole Kmet wide open. So I don't believe Cole Kmet, in my example, I have short and elite, just for the record. So I would probably change my tight end alignment just to make sure that we can create some consistent separation. But you're going to very easily see how we can kind of run this as a opportunity to get Cole Kmet open to the corner. So you see right there, he fries his man, and we're able to throw that for a pretty big gain. So really nice little tweak that you can make to this scheme to be able to kind of create some wins to the left side of the field in a formation that doesn't really have anything other than an outside receiver. Now, the other thing that's really great about this too is that we also have the ability, if you wish, to utilize post routes. So if I want to motion Kmet into the backfield as a post route, this is great because now I can kind of use this as a even a zone beating concept, because we could drive off the coverage to the left side of the field, block our DB fire blitz, which is just block the running back, slide right, ID left, and utilize this slant combo. And you see here that he runs underneath of those vert hooks. So this player becomes a really useful option for you as it pertains, you know, being able to beat this meta. And you notice that the blocking is really good against this. Our pass protection's good, the dollar's not coming in at all, and we're in a really good spot. The other thing that I want to talk about real quick is that if you run tight end attack and you slide protect right and ID this guy, this running back is a menace. He will go over and pick up that player and then release late and be available to you on this streak out of the backfield. So you can throw that really well while reading the middle of the field for the tight end post, the angle route, all those different things that you guys can utilize. The last thing that I want to talk about real quick in this before we get into the other formation we're breaking down today is that we had this PA sprint halfback flat. I really like this simply because we have the ability to kind of beat man-to-man coverage so effectively. Keep in mind that if they are in spinner, they are in a spot where they have to man up the A tight end. Otherwise, he is completely uncovered. You know, so in a lot of cases, you're going to see somebody kind of usering like this. With this particular play, the thing that I really like about it is that we can actually create some pretty interesting runoffs, some flooding combos with this. So if I run kind of this setup, you see how Gronk gets wide open against the man-to-man, or I'm sorry, that was Olsen, the inside guy that was even manned up on that play. If we kind of take a look here at how this was actually, I was actually lined up on the guy that was guarding him, but this guy is really kind of the throw that you're looking to make most. And then the other thing with this is that the safety on the backside is manned up on the running back. You see how this is a quick dump to the flat to the running back with this safety on the backside? Keep those things in the back of your mind as you're freestyling out of this. So if you're really in a spot where you kind of want to freestyle these combos together, keep in mind that you can audible into the wing pair, but maybe tight end attack, and still have the ability to kind of motion any of these players across. One thing that I do want to mention with this is that if you decide to motion this guy right here, he does line up as a tight end. This is a great opportunity for you guys to run the smart routed corner route against spinner. It gives you that flat break, which is so useful against man-to-man coverage. So in the event that we're dealing with spinner, you've got the ability to kind of hit this throw as it cuts. Wait for it. There we go. And you see that it wins really, really well against man-to-man coverage. And then you've got the physicality down the field after the catch, because these are large humans. These are, 6'6", 6'7", 260-pound tight ends. They're going to be able to break those tackles in a lot of cases, because most players tend to play DBs at safety in this defense. So that is the Singleback wing pair, how easy it is, how simple it is, how freestyle it is. Let's now get into our other formation, which, as I mentioned, was going to be the wing tight. The one difference about the audible with the wing tight is going to be that when we audible into this formation, you're going to see a tight end slide across. That is going to be your point man, so this is important. If you guys want the point man to be a certain player, use the tight end swap or the regular tight end package. Keep that in the back of your mind. Now, the thing about this particular formation is that we're going to be utilizing the wide zone. Wide zone is one of my favorite runs, if not my absolute favorite run in the game. And the cool thing about this is I can just run this flipped left or right. It does not matter. We've got bodies to go either side, and it makes it very, very hard for the defense to be able to stop this. So you see right here, this wide zone, we can kind of just cut it, bounce it inside. The thing about this is that it kind of works as an inside run, and inside stuffs can't stop it, and it works like a stretch as well. So keep that in the back of your mind as you play through this. We'll go ahead and run kind of another setup here. So we got DB fire. We're going to audible into the wing tight. Let's go into the wide zone, and we'll run it to the left this time. Now, you can traditionally run it left. If you're struggling with that slot corner for some reason or another, you can motion an extra player. You see right there, he looped around our tight end. That's no worry. If you guys are experiencing that pain point with this particular audible, we are just going to go ahead and add a motion into this. So let's go into wide zone. We've got this guy on the left. Gronk didn't get there last time. Now we'll just motion Komet across the formation. It's an extra body. He now lines up on the other side. This is what is considered to be the Singleback. This would actually be considered Singleback wing tight X, which is basically just the flip of the formation that we're going to be running tomorrow, which is the wing tight Z. So keep that in mind with this as well. I just wanted to add that little tidbit. So let's get back into the regular wing tight real quick, and I'm going to show you this motion again. So if you're struggling with that left side corner, we are going to be motioning across at him, and now we've got significant bodies to the left. We can run this wide zone, and you see that our blocking is immaculate. Down the field, first contact, 15, 16 yards down the field, gashing with the run game. Obviously, it goes without saying, we're in a heavy personnel grouping. We're going to be gashing with this. Super easy. Super, super easy. But let's go ahead and run the passing stuff real quick out of this. We have basically our PAY throwback. Again, with this formation, take a look at how this kind of works. It is a very, very deep attacking formation in general. So a lot of your principles for passing are going to be freestyle elements. But with this particular concept here, one thing that I really like is that we can still kind of block the blitz if we want to. I could just put the running back on a table route. Kind of up to you with this. But we're going to be able to block this blitz. I can even roll out if I want to and kind of look for the, this A route. That's one that you can throw. If you guys want to go back to the roaming Deadeye glitch video, feel free to add that into your defense as well. Obviously, if they're in spinner man-to-man, this is going to be something where you will be able to kind of attack, I would say, the man-to-man coverage really effectively with this C-Route. Again, this is a very tough formation to blitz as well. Take a look at the alignments of this. It's all jacked up. You've got the ability to kind of just freestyle corner routes. Again, in general, this C route can be really, really vicious. So you see right here, there's Olsen. He's going to break to the outside, and now he's open on the sideline. So that's a big, big gain against man-to-man. So I wanted to kind of leave you guys with that as well. But that is just the first half of what we are doing in this defensive scheme. This has been the wing tight pair and the wing tight. So make sure that you guys are coming back tomorrow for part 2 of this. We're going to be breaking down the wing tight Z. Make sure that you guys lab all these runs. Obviously, I wanted to do this mostly against Dollar. It's the most popular defense out there. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you guys give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, drop those below. If you guys want my base offense for the X Nasty to run in front of this, head over to gridirongameplans.gg, and we'll see you guys tomorrow with our next video upload. Until then, this is Zan. Get in the lab, and good luck.